All right, so now let's get into plotting coordinates. So, all right, we talked about getting an 8-digit coordinate because, again, that'll get us within around 32 feet of a target, which is pretty good. So, spoiler, I have my points marked because this is a circuit that or a path that I've already been working on. So this isn't that big of a map, obviously. This is basically our house, and we go up and over and back. So basically, plotting coordinates, I get an 8-digit number from all the things I already talked about, and you take that 8-digit number, and you're going to cut it in half, so 4 on each side. And then I'm going to take the first 2 here and underline them, and the next 2 digits of the second set and underline them. Kind of just go like this, just separate them. So what I'm going to do is basically the rule is always you go right and then up, and this is to basically find the coordinates. So these quadrants, I guess I should say, have 1,000 meters distance in them, so you can kind of get an idea how far you're traveling, which we will get more accurate than that eventually. So first you're going to look at the 32, and again you're going to go right first, and then we're going to go up. So we're going to take it right 32. You're going to pretend these are basically 2 different sections of numbers. So we're going to go right 32, and then we're going to go up 70. So you look at this map, and you're going to ignore these first 2 numbers. That's something that doesn't really matter. So that's just telling you where it's at and how it's divided up on the earth. So we're going to go right 32. So here's 31. We go to 32. So we went right to 32, and now we're going to go up 70. So we went over 32, up 7. Oops, sorry, over 32 and up 70. So it's right here is the beginning. So over 32, up 70. Now we know it's on that's in the quadrant to the upper right is the quadrant we're going to be in for this point that was marked. So we know we're going to be in here because 32 over to the right, up 70. That means the upper right, we're in this quadrant. So again, there's my starting point because I already know this one. So again, we're using a map with the 1/24,000 scale. So you take your protractor, find the 1/24,000, and I'm going to start it at 0, right at the corner of that upper right quadrant we figured out that we're going to use from those first 4 digits. So I'm going to line it up on 0. This is 0 right here. On this line, that 70 line, and I'm going to move it over. I'm going to move it over 3.2 to the right, again, right and then up. And we're going to move it over 3.2, and then we're going to read up, not move it, but read up 7. And that should be our starting point. So I'm going to line this up again on 0. So I'm going to move this over to 3.2. Oops, I'm on the wrong scale. Okay, try this again. 0, move it over to 3.2. I can barely see because my eyes suck. All right, so now I'm on 3. I moved it over to get to 3.2, and now I'm going to not move it, but read up. Oh, no, I'm sorry, 5. Now I went over 3.2, I'm going to read up 5.2, not 7. So I read up 5.2, and that's exactly where my starting point is. So you'd mark, if you didn't know that already, you'd mark it on the map, and you kind of looked to make sure, I lift it up to make sure it matches, to make sure I'm not to the left of it or to the right, because again, these little bits are going to add a lot of meters to your travel. You want to be exact. So I'd probably mark it, and then I'd lift up and make sure I marked the right spot. So I want to be on, I went 3.2 over and then 5.2 up. So again, I went 3.2 over and then 7.0 up, so I knew it was in this quadrant because that's where these meet, so upper right quadrant. And then I took the protractor, moved it over 3.2, like it's again. That's what these coordinates happen to be, and then up 5.2, marked and checked. And that's how I got my starting point. So I put starting point, I know that's the beginning. Now you want to use a fine pencil, maybe a mechanical one. This one kind of sucks, but I was using map markers on this anyways. And you'll mark that, and there's obviously all kinds of dots and things on this map already, so after I mark it, I'd probably circle it. So I have the fine mark, but I have the circle to help me find it since it's so tiny. So there's our starting point. So same thing for, you know, wherever else you're going, or if you have other lines you're plotting, you take your 8 digits, find them on here, find the quadrant, and then use your protractor, move it over, read up, and mark it, which I've already done. So now I kind of want to try the A and the B backwards. So now I know what these coordinates are, but what if I wanted to, I know what these points are on the map, but what if I wanted to know what the 8-digit coordinate was? So let's figure out what A is. So we got starting point. How about alpha? So we know it's going to be, again, over first, over 3, 2. We know we want to get this point right here to know that it's in this quadrant. So we're going to go over 3, 2. And then this one we're going up to, you see that? Okay. Now you're going up to 7, 1. So we know it's going to be 3, 2, 7, 1. Sorry, alpha. 3, 2, 7, 1. That tells us it's in this quadrant, which you can't see. 3, 2, 7, 1. It's in this quadrant. Now how do we get that exact marking? So we'll start on this quadrant, the 1/24,000 scale, and I'm going to move over until my protractor is on that alpha marking. And it looks like it's basically just about exactly 2, because again, you're going right first. 2 over, and that's about, say, 4, 5. 4, 5. So now, sorry, writing this off the screen. So we knew it was 3, 2, and 7, 1 got our quadrant, and then it was 2 over and 4.5 up. So now we know alpha is that marking. And you do the same thing with B. If you had the coordinates, you could plot it on the map. If you want to find the coordinates, you have it plotted on the map, then you could do what I just did. Same quadrant for B. And that's basically plotting coordinates and using the protractor. And the next thing I'd go through would be degree of travel. So now you want to know basically from your starting point, what's the degree of travel I'm going from starting point to alpha? What's my direction of travel? So I'll go over that next.